Welcome to Kentucky Hemp Works Gaming. I decided to start a gaming channel so that I can combine two of the things that I love to do more than anything else, and that is play video games and talk about hemp. Also talk about other things like current events and the philosophies of liberty, some of the great libertarians and freedom thinkers of our lifetime, and play video games at the same time. I'm starting out today with one of my favorites, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. This is one of the games that really got me into some of the more fantasy games. I know it's an adventure game, but it really got me into the RPG world. And so I thought this was a good one to start with because I don't have to learn anything. I already know where everything is, and I can talk about my favorite thing to talk about, and that is hemp. I'm the owner of Kentucky Hemp Works, hence the name of the channel. I've been involved in the hemp industry as a business owner since 2014, and I've been playing video games since I was old enough to hold a controller. So this is a great opportunity to combine those two things and talk about some of the things that I've already been talking about for a long time in a way that's comfortable and fun, and maybe we can involve some other people as well and get some different opinions, some other viewpoints, and hear from people who not only love gaming but love freedom and all the dangers inherent in freedom. So today's show, I'll be playing The Legend of Zelda. As you can see, the intro is here, and I'll let you watch that because it is such a riveting tale of evil and justice and good triumphing over evil, and that is why we play video games, is it not? We want to be the good guy, we want to be the hero, and we want to defeat evil wherever it lies. So as far as our topics for today, I want to talk more about hemp because there's a lot going on in the hemp world. Predominantly, the focus for today will be talk about hemp and the latest on that issue. So let's get started. Let's see, can we fit? KY hemp, perfect. Of course it's perfect. There we go, 3 little hearts. Help me, please help me. I'm a prisoner in the dungeon of the castle. My name is Zelda, of course it is. The wizard Aghanim has done something to the other missing girls. Now only I remain. Aghanim, of course, is an evil wizard who kidnapped a bunch of young, beautiful maidens and is trying to open the 7 wise men's seal. Which seems to be a recurring theme with evil people. Here we go. Obviously, step 1 is to check the treasure box and collect my lamp. Pick up some hearts that I don't need because you kind of have to destroy every jar in the house. It's the only way to go. And I don't have a sword yet, so I'm just gonna head to the castle. While I'm on my way there, I'll talk about some of the latest news. Obviously, some of the big news on the federal level is that Lindsey Graham passed away today, or sometime in the last 24 hours. He was in Ukraine visiting and checking out some drones, probably thinking about ways to buy more drones and fight more. Sometime after he got home, he passed away. Supposedly it was cardiac arrest. Maybe some of the news has changed since then. It's been a few hours since I checked. We know, man. Zelda is my fate. All right, so here we are outside the castle. We talked about the latest news. Some of the latest other news is the U.S. national debt is at $39 trillion, 39,469 billion and a half dollars. So we're not quite at $40 trillion in debt yet, but we'll get there soon. I wonder what the over under is on like how long until we actually get to 40 trillion. But I think if the warmongers in Congress have their way, we'll be there in no time. So let's see. I'm not really worried about collecting items or anything. I just want to get to the princess really quickly while I move on to our next topic. I thought I would start with some federal news first, but on the hemp issue, the breaking news for the week is comical, and honestly, it's heartwarming. The Virginia state legislature accidentally legalized recreational marijuana in their state. They did it through a budget bill, and essentially, they're passing their budget. They I'm gonna guess, I haven't looked into it, I'm gonna guess they had some kind of regulation on funding the enforcement on marijuana, and they somehow changed the date to 2027. It was indeed a clerical error. The government of Virginia, the clerk's office, they have said that this was a clerical error, and obviously they're going to go back and change that. We don't just get that kind of lucky. I had to do that. I have to do it every time. But we don't see that as being like the way to win on issues like that, unfortunately. But it does sort of give you hope because, the government could accidentally do good things. I mean, what if the government accidentally cut spending? It would be incredible for the future generations, for our children and grandchildren. What if they accidentally gave peace a chance, or accidentally didn't blow somebody up? That would be the greatest gift to humanity. So, it sort of gives you hope that there's the possibility that government could accidentally do things that would benefit mankind. And so, it didn't last. It's not something we can hope to achieve in other states, but it has happened. The government accidentally legalized marijuana, and you know what happened? Nothing. The sun still came up the next day in West Virginia. Nobody went on a wild marijuana bender and started destroying downtown metropolis. Like, it just happened, and then they're undoing it, and that's it. So it is inspiring, though. So next, I guess, federal news is the topic of the day. So there have been a bunch of kind of flurry on the federal level as far as what is the future of hemp. And in order to talk about the future of hemp on the federal level, I should update about where we are and how we got where we are. Okay, so for a brief recap on what happened with hemp on the federal level and where we are, last year in a Senate appropriations bill, Senator Mitch McConnell, who was lauded as having legalized hemp through the Farm Bill 12 years ago, he made hemp illegal if it's at a THC content of above 0.4% per unit, per serving. And what that did is it wasn't, the definition wasn't thoroughly thought out. It wasn't like they really got to a good definition of hemp. They just sort of wanted to throw something out there. And I think the idea was to ban everything that had a high THC content because they wanted to sort of undo the adult use products that have proliferated in this country. But because of the poor wording of the language in the appropriations bill, it didn't just ban finished products that were high THC. It banned anything that has above 0.4% THC. So that could be a bottle of, extra strength CBD drops or, okay, got it. Yeah. So that could also mean a concentrate. So if somebody extracts from a hemp plant and they've extracted the cannabinoids from the plant, they are going to use that in some finished products, but right now it's in sort of a concentrated form. That is considered in process. And unfortunately, the way that appropriations bill was written is it just, it includes concentrates. It includes the plant. Another problem is that, 0.4 milligrams, there's probably 0.4 milligrams of THC in any hemp plant just because of the size of the plant, the amount of cannabinoids that are present on the entire plant. So essentially they threw the baby out with the bathwater. Congress wanted to stop the proliferation of adult use products because they wanted people not to have a good relaxing evening. They don't want you to sleep good. They don't want you to heal when you're sleeping, when you're reaching REM sleep. They just want you to be sick. And quite frankly, that's what it comes down to. So let's see what's going on here. So we found Zelda. The wizard is controlling this is an inhuman fiend. I do understand Zelda actually because we deal with inhuman fiends all the time, and they are. All right, so she knows the secret path. We're going to get to the first floor, and she's going to show us how to get there. And this is probably one of the best breakout scenes ever. I remember playing this game when I was a kid, and I'm just like, this is incredible. I'm traveling as Link with Princess Zelda. I'm rescuing her from this castle, and it's probably one of the highlights of my youth. All right, at any rate, so where were we with the hemp? So Congress bans hemp last year. Whether they intended to ban the entire industry or not, it remains to be seen. But I do believe that there's a lot of people in Congress who had no intention of banning hemp, but they just had to vote for an appropriations bill that was going to continue to fund the government. And unfortunately, that's what happens is, something gets slipped into a bill. It has nothing to do with the topic, but they throw it in an appropes bill, and they're like, oh my gosh, we have to pass this. If we don't pass it, there won't be any money for the children, grandmothers, or, puppies, and we're all really mean if we don't do that. So, so they banned, okay, the secret passage in the throne room. It's okay, I know how to get there. So they banned hemp, and since then, there's been a mad rush to beat this deadline, and the deadline is November 17th, November 7th, something like that. So since then, November's coming soon. We're not that far off from it. We've got a couple of months left before this ban goes into effect, and all of Kentucky Hemp Works cannabinoid products are banned. Most of the industry is banned. What's interesting about this is this deadline that I mentioned. So the deadline would be nice if I could see. So I think I'll switch this. So the deadline was a year from the date that appropriations bill passed. And that's kind of telling in itself, giving it a 1-year thing and saying this is like so dangerous. We've got to protect the children. It's the end of the world if we don't do this. We have to pass this ban. Obviously, that's not that's not true. I mean, if it was that dangerous and we had to protect the children and grandmas were going to suffer and all this stuff, they would have just banned it outright, and they would have said, and it was an emergency, and they would have, the ban would have been instantaneous upon the president's signature. But that wasn't the case. And McConnell, who orchestrated the ban, and he won't call it a ban. He'll say, no, we just tighten the reins a little bit, but essentially it bans it. But when he did the ban, he said that the year deadline that he gave us, which was so kind of him, was for the farmers. He wanted to do right by the farmers and give them an opportunity to sell off their crops, probably at a loss, because now all of a sudden it's a race to get rid of your crop. I mean, these farmers could be holding thousands of pounds of hemp, tens of thousands of pounds, thousands of tons. And November 17th, that's illegal. They're criminals. Nobody wants farmers to be criminals. And I think that Mitch McConnell doesn't want that either. But who could say, really? So where does that leave us in the hemp industry? I mean, we all want to survive. We want to keep making these products. I personally have a lot of people who use my products, whether they're CBD or the roots. We have a lot of products that are not predicated on CBD. There's no CBD in them. And that's a confusing issue for a lot of people. We could talk about that some more on my gaming channel. I mean, there's nothing I love to do more than play video games and talk about hemp and talk about hemp root salve. All right, so we're ready to leave the castle through the underground railroad here. I don't have any bombs yet, so I'm gonna have to skip the, what is it, a heart piece or something? For now, I'm just gonna avoid the mice. I usually like to kill every single thing, chop every bit of grass, and break every pot, because, I don't know, I was raised on Nintendo 64. It just, like, it's what you do. So I'll try to limit it to, like, if I need a heart, if I need some money. I definitely like to collect money far beyond the 999. Like, I just will continue to get every single last rupee. It's what I do. So the sanctuary is just beyond that door. Pull the switch over there. Which switch is it? Oh, man. Every single time I pull the wrong one. I think I always pull the one on the right. No, I literally did it again. It's just, it is what it is. Look at me. Getting owned by some little snakes. Probably because I should be talking about hemp instead of just playing this game. All right, so where does that leave us on the federal level? Multiple federal bills have been floated by multiple lawmakers in DC. This is something that's been going on since November, since the appropriations bill. There's a lot of different groups that are pushing different issues. Everybody's got their own agenda. I've got my own agenda. That doesn't mean that's not a bad thing. But some agendas are more geared towards food. Some agendas are more geared towards feed, seed, regulations on industrial uses for the crop. And that's something that, is going to take an entire additional video. Maybe we'll talk about this later on while we're fighting Ganon or something. But for now, we're looking at the low-hanging fruit of saving the hemp industry, which is getting an extension. An extension on this law could give us an additional year, gives us an extra year to come up with some regulations that Congress is happy with, and also some regulations that we think that the industry would be happy with. So in Kentucky, there's actually 2 bills being floated right now. One is being floated by Andy Barr, Representative Andy Barr. He's the representative he's the U.S. Congressman from Lexington, and he's been there for a while. I actually met with him on hemp before it was legal on the federal level. He's always been open-minded about the issue. In the past, he sponsored the Kentucky Safe Bank, or the Safe Banking Act, not the Kentucky Banking Act, but the Safe Banking Act would allow banks to do business with hemp companies without the fear of a RICO case or in trouble for um, getting in trouble for, holding money for a controlled substance, essentially. Right now, banks are concerned that the federal government might come after them if they hold money for a hemp company. And I don't think that's an issue. I don't think that would actually be an issue for them. But I do think that the banks don't have the confidence. And if they had confidence that the feds weren't going to come down on them, I think they'd be all for it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I think we've seen some of the banks that have been working with hemp are now regretting it and closing their bank accounts. So it's not a given, and we'll just see how that shakes out. All right, let's get back to the gameplay. I have been not paying attention to what I'm actually supposed to be doing, which is to find the Master Sword. And I think Zelda told me that I need to find the village elder here, and so that's why I kind of automatically came to Kakariko village, or Kakariko. I don't know how to say that. I never did. I always say Kakariko, so let's find the elder. I don't remember exactly where he is, but we'll start searching, and I'm sure we'll find him eventually. Hey, dude, give me your shoes. The rumors say that I kidnapped a princess. I swear I would never kidnap Zelda. Alright, he's in the palace, past the castle, and he's going to mark the spot on my map. That's right. Okay. Gotcha. Alright, I guess we're going to take the long way. I don't have any shoes to run fast, and I guess we'll go around the front of the castle, because all the other ways are going to be locked off. Where are we on the federal level? So we've got Andy Barr's hemp bill. Now, Andy Barr is not the only legislator, the only U.S. congressman out of Kentucky who has filed hemp legislation on the federal level. Just within the last week or so, Congressman James Comer also filed a bill. And his bill would actually not be a standalone bill. It's going to be on another appropriations bill. This is a military appropriations bill. And again, it's one of those bills that has to pass. The U.S. government cannot go a day without funding the military or military action. So just, good or bad, it is what it is. And that bill is probably going to pass. But will it pass with an extension on the hemp ban? We don't really know. We don't really know. All right. Had to get a drink of water. Talking too much for sure. Hey, friend. Stop shooting me. Oh, I forgot I have my boomerang, but I really like to just charge at him and take him down. All right, let's carve our way to, where are we going? Yep, got it. So we've got two different hemp bills coming out of Kentucky. There are other congresspeople that are interested in hemp for different reasons, and this is a bipartisan thing. I mean, there's Democrats, there's Republicans. Many of them have sat down with folks from the hemp industry. There's a lot of groups that are in DC. Some are big, well-funded, very professional organizations. And some are small organizations like the Kentucky Hemp Association that might not be huge in size or have deep pockets, but we have been involved in the entire history of hemp since, we'll say, 2009. All right, so we have two different bills in DC. James Comer's bill issues an extension has some regulations in there, some basic regulations, and they're open to potentially more regulations. All right, let's see. Sahasrara. He's surprised that I'm searching for the Master Sword. I definitely want to find it. Pendant of Courage. Of course. Of course. Got you. But I don't have bombs, so I'll have to be patient. Now, Andy Barr's hemp bill is a little bit different. It's not attached to an appropriations bill, so you know, the vehicle is different, and essentially there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat in Frankfurt and Washington, and both, I think, bills will do what we need. They both put hemp back on shelves. They both allow farmers to continue selling their crops, but you know, they're just different ways of going about it. So either one of those bills would be great. And one thing that I will say is, if you're ever like, man, how do we get these bills passed? You know, I want to help. If you have like any desire to contact your congressman, that is the best thing that you can do. If they start getting a bunch of phone calls from their constituents about an issue, they will check it out. And I'll tell you right now, what we've heard from Washington is that other states' legislators are not familiar with hemp, really. They probably know what it is, but they probably don't have a very in-depth knowledge of, you know, what exactly is hemp, what is the difference between hemp and marijuana. There's probably confusion there that they just, you know, maybe they support it, but they don't support certain things, and therefore they would sign on to something like a ban. And that is an education problem. That's on us. That's on people in the industry. We need to do a better job of educating Congress people around the country, and not just worry about the ones in Kentucky. And we've actually, and I'm not just saying this like I know everything. We were told this by our legislators in Kentucky. Like they're like, we love hemp. You don't have to convince us to support hemp. We already support it. Go convince the rest of the country to support it. So if you stumble across this channel somehow, and you really, maybe you use CBD to sleep, CBG to sleep, you use something, or CBN, you know, you really want to see these products continue to be on shelves, and you live outside of Kentucky, I would recommend calling your congressman immediately, emailing their office, calling their office. Emails are okay. You can call their office and speak with a staffer. That's a great way to communicate with your senator. And you know, it's not always effective or necessary to try to get a meeting with your congressman. It's always exciting and it's fun and it's a good photo op. But a lot of times they rely on their staffers to educate them about topics. And if you don't educate the staffers, coming out the exit, if you don't educate the staffers, they can't educate their boss. So we like to, you know, we like to meet with our legislators, of course, and especially get the photo ops. That's always the best part, good or bad, whether you like the legislator or not. But what's important is you're educating them. And if you're going to educate them, call their office, talk to their staffer, ask if you can have like a short 5-minute phone call with their ag staffer, and explain to them why you use CBD, why you use full spectrum products. And, you know, just explain it to your staffer, to their staffer, and they'll have the ability to frame that in at the time that works for their boss and in a way that works for their boss. Maybe their boss wants an update on constituents and people that have reached out, and there you have it. And then if you are interested in, you know, really getting in and meeting with a specific senator, congressman, or something like that, and getting them on board, and you need help with that, reach out to us. We've been doing this stuff for years. You know, love them or hate them, we're effective. We know how to get policies changed in DC and Frankfurt, and sometimes it's not always easy in DC because it's all about the money there. But in Frankfurt, it's real. The people there are real. The legislators are real. They're, oftentimes, um, the problem with the legislature in Frankfurt is they're influenced by the surreal ones, the globalists, the people in DC. But most of those legislators are in Frankfurt are just going home to their normal life, back to their job. They're not in that position as a career necessarily. Some are, but many of them are just normal people like you and me. All right, I'm gonna have to focus. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Thought I'd have to concentrate on killing that guy, but it was pretty standard. Let's see if we can once again press the wrong button. Go ahead and get my boomerang. Stop jumping so much. Does boomerang work on these guys? No, but I know what does. All right, so what do you do when you want to contact your congressman? You had the big key, of course, if I had the big key. You can go to congress.gov and you can check there. You can search your congressman. If I can drop a link, I am constantly sharing links to that, but it's very simple. Go to congress.gov, search around the website a little bit until you find the way to find who your rep is. You'll have contact information. You can give them a call. You can send them an email. Whatever you do, do it fast because we only have until November. And quite frankly, there's a lot of people who are gonna be sorely, sorely unhappy if they have to go back to prescription pharmaceuticals to manage their pain. They go back to prescription drugs to help them sleep. I mean, there's just gonna be a lot of extremely sad individuals, including myself. But have no fear. I think the appetite in Washington, D.C. is such that they want to fix this. I think a lot of people in D.C. didn't intend to just ban the hemp industry. Let's see. I wish I had some magic dust. I'm gonna take care of these guys here so I can concentrate on the important things like legalizing hemp, re-legalizing it for the umpteenth time. What do we have? Get rid of you. Is it a button? No. There it is. Got it. I really don't like these fairies. I only later on in life realized that they were called anti-fairies. I just thought this was like a skull with red stuff, but it turns out these are just evil fairies. Sad, demonic fairies, apparently. It's unfortunately not like Navi. I mean, some would say she drives you to madness, but yeah. If I had some magic dust, I'd turn him into a real fairy. All right, where are we in the news for the day? We've talked about federal stuff. I've got tons of hemp things to talk about, but just not all the time in the world. So I think I want to take a little commercial break here and talk about my favorite thing, my favorite product in the world, and then I'll go into this boss fight. So the reason I started this channel is because, like I said, I love hemp and I love gaming. They're two things that nobody has to tell me what to do them. I wake up every day loving hemp. I wake up every day loving gaming. But more than any other hemp product on the planet, I love Kentucky Hemp Works root salve. It is the first product that we ever made at Kentucky Hemp Works, and it's something that I still use every day to this day, and I have used it ever since day one. In the future, I'll talk about some other products, like products that other people make using hemp, maybe products that other people make not using hemp at all. But Kentucky Hemp Root Salve is it's the most popular product that we've had for the longest amount of time. I just remembered I could jump in this hole and get me a fairy, so I'm going to do that. Alright, so now we're back in the temple. We're going to go on and fight this boss. And just kind of talk about some of the federal issues while I'm fighting the boss, and then maybe just wrap up for this episode. I actually had a lot more that I wanted to talk about today, but it turns out I can talk a lot, and I'm just going to need a little more time. So probably come back for a little more and talk about some of the state issues that are going on. There we go. Now I can see. Ooh, lovely. Should I do it? I have to, really. I mean, it's who I am. Okay. Alright, so I'm heading, these guys are gonna... I don't have any way to kill you, man. And I don't have any more keys. So, am I missing a key? Is it possible? Let's look at my map. No! Did I get the big key? Do you remember, Ari? Did I already get the big key? Sure did. Alright. Now that I've thoroughly gotten myself lost, I'm ready to go fight the boss. And let's see. I would like to be able to see, so I'm going to go ahead and light my fire. And then I'll switch back. Ooh, nice. Beautiful. Okay. Now we're back on track. We can get back to the feds. So what are the feds doing? So we know that we've got a couple of hemp bills, and we've got support from Andy Barr, who is the author of the Safe Banking Act, which allows banking for hemp companies, cannabis companies. Now recently, which is pretty exciting news, is the American Banking Association actually came out in favor of the Safe Banking Act as well. So we're talking about the association that, you know, I mean, this is a national... Seriously? Oh. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So this is what happens when you try to talk and play games instead of concentrating on the actual game. You get your butt handed to you by just on the first level. Literally first level. So, all right. Now, the bankers. Ari, we have to cut this entire piece out. Kill me. Okay, I'm going to start over from there. Okay, so that's what happens when you try to talk instead of playing the game. You just get your butt handed to you on the very first level. It is a little bit hard to concentrate on gaming and talking about politics at the same time, but I'm determined to do it. I love them both so much. I love talking about gaming. I love talking about politics. And I truly believe I can do this. Maybe in the future, I'll get some friends on here. We'll play some two-player games. We have kind of a little rudimentary setup here right now. We just got a little backdrop behind me. And we have my Super Nintendo Classic, which is my favorite console, honestly. I think it's the one I play the most. I enjoy all the newer consoles, and I've definitely played games from all the generations, but Super Nintendo is my childhood. It's the time of my life that was just, the best, and no worries, just play video games with your friends. Obviously, I want to go back and relive that any chance I get, so Um, all right, here we go. Back at it. Not gonna get my butt handed to me by a silly little, what are those guys called even? Let's see, I can skip these guys. Head on down, up the stairs. Alright, full health. No, you don't. No! Stay away from me. Seriously. Those are my least favorite. Let's see. This top guy is who I want, but the middle guy is gonna drive me nuts. Got it. See, I mean, it's not that hard, really. What do the kids call it these days? A skill issue? When you die on the first level? I believe that's what they call it. No. Okay. Made it. Okay, I'm not too shabby. Oh, we're so close. Come on, guys. Stop being all... Stop jumping. I just don't want to change for my boomerang and go back and forth. I wish there was a toggle button for that, but we are playing on a Super Nintendo. I think in the future I'll play Ocarina of Time because the remake is coming out soon, and it would just be awesome to relive that game again. There we go. Not too bad. Okay, those guys usually give me a hard time. I am fully stocked on arrows, hearts, rupees. Not fully stocked on rupees. You're never really fully stocked on rupees, are you? I mean, you think you are. That 999 means nothing. That's just crypto. Alright, this guy is never too bad unless I'm not paying attention, and so far I'm doing okay. Yeah, I could probably even talk about politics while I'm fighting this guy. He's so simple, but look at me. Getting all crazy again. Talking, messing up. There's probably speedrunners who are just rolling right now, like, laughing at this. But it's alright. Eventually I'll get there. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there we have it. Oh yeah, you know what? I hate when he... This is how I feel about big government. Taxation is theft, Kupo. I'm actually getting that on a t-shirt. I'm gonna make my own t-shirts. So if you want a taxation is theft Kupo t-shirt, let me know. I'll be coming out with that pretty soon, I believe. Basically everything that I think about, I'm just gonna start doing. This is probably the most fun I've had in a long time, just gaming in the basement in the dark with my son, Ari, who's back there running the monitor. 2 pendants remain. I'm gonna head back to Sahasrara while I close this out, and we'll come back and I think talk a little bit more about the state stuff, because there's a lot that we could dig into on the federal level, and I didn't want to get too in the weeds just on the first episode. I mean, this is really like a beta test. We're just trying it out, see how it goes. So far, I love it. I really want to keep doing it, and other people have indicated that they would watch my gaming content if I did it. So here's to those 2 people. Here you go. This is your cue to subscribe. Kentucky Hemp Works on YouTube. as well as the Kentucky Hemp Works gaming channel, which I will start not long after we finish recording this. And once we do that, you'll be able to watch that on an unrestricted channel. So, as many of you know who've known me for a long time, Kentucky Hemp Works stays restricted. We are shadow banned. We're in Facebook jail. We're basically, we live on the edge. We're educating people about omega fatty acids and brain health, and taking good care of your digestive tract and your gut health. And obviously, that makes us bad criminals. So, in order to get around that, we'll have a new YouTube channel, Kentucky Hemp Works Gaming. Make sure to check that out. You'll find me on Substack, Katie Moyer, Facebook, Katie Moyer Arzamastava. If you don't know how to say my last name, that's okay. Nobody else does, so you can say Moyer because everybody else does. And I guess that's it for today. So tune in next time to Gaming and Justice for All, or the Kentucky Hemp Works Gaming channel, whatever I eventually decide to call this thing. For now, it's just a fun little project, and I'm really enjoying it. So definitely going to do this again. Stay tuned for more.
Kentucky grown hemp and trusted CBD. Feel your best every single day. Kentucky Hemp Works leads the way.